Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel in beautiful Kona, Hawaii. I'm Scott Flathouse, and I'm a lifelong Canon user, but I've always wanted to try out a camera from a brand that's often shrouded in mystique, Leica. Specifically, I rented the Leica Q2 for my trip to Kona, Hawaii for the Ironman World Championship this year. So let's dive into my Leica experience and see if the legendary reputation holds up to the hype. We started by unboxing the Leica Q2. I rented the camera from lensrentals.com because I wasn't willing to drop some heavy coin to buy one just yet. I chose the Q2 because it seemed like a good choice for a smaller, lighter camera to carry around with me for general photos. Let's go to Hawaii and see how it did. So there's some things that I really like about this Leica Q2, and then some things that are kind of infuriating. So let's take a look. The battery itself, to change the battery, it's got this release here, and we can release it, and it pops out. And if you start to pull it out, you can't get it out. And what you have to do is press it down a little bit. There's a click. And then it releases. And it took me a minute to figure this out. I was really frustrated because I was trying to get the battery out and I couldn't release it. I probably should have read the manual about it. And there's, I kept doing the release. But what's going on is inside there's a little pin here. And when you move the release lever, it moves the pin, but the battery itself has this channel. And so I think this is designed so that if you were to hit the release and it was upside down, the battery just wouldn't fall out and fall onto the ground or down, inside your car or somewhere where you can't find it. So partly infuriating, but also partly genius. Another thing that really been frustrating as we use this camera here in Hawaii all week is the lens cap. So the lens cap simply just slides on to the lens hood, and it's got some felt inside and there's a little bit of a friction fit, but if you just shake it a little bit, the lens cap tends to fall off. It was falling off the whole time we were here in Hawaii. So there's probably some way to attach that better or to make it fit better, but we couldn't figure it out. Some of the operation of the camera is kind of cool here. It's got a macro feature. And so to activate the macro, you just turn this ring and it changes the focal distance so you can get up close. So that's kind of cool. Another feature is the manual focus versus autofocus. So right here on the lens, it's set in autofocus mode. But around here on the side, there's a catch, and you can move this ring to manually focus. And then if you want to go back to autofocus, you just slide it all the way back and lock it in on the autofocus. And then to adjust the aperture, there's this ring here, and the aperture goes from 1.7 all the way to 16. We use this mostly in portrait mode, so I kept the aperture around f2. The camera has fantastic lens quality, and that was one of the things that we were most pleased about this camera, was some of the pictures that it took. The ergonomics on this camera are okay. It's got a recessed area here for your thumb, and then the front part of the camera has this rubberized material that allows a pretty decent grip. It's a pretty hefty camera. We didn't really have a problem holding it or carrying it throughout the week, but it's pretty basic as far as the ergonomics go. I want to talk some about the autofocus on this Leica Q2 camera. Right now it's doing a pretty good job of finding the face using the facial recognition autofocus. And actually this is quite remarkable since it's a pretty backlit scene. What we found is that if we get too far away, we're not able to lock in to the face. And I'm used to my Canon camera that does a fantastic job of recognizing people and faces and heads. Just a little bit disappointed in how this feature worked. Another autofocus mode that I tried during this week is the multi-field mode. And so when I push down the shutter button halfway, you can see the camera trying to find what it thinks we should be focusing on. This worked a little bit better when the subject was further away. But as you can see now, it looks like it's hunting pretty well for what the focus should be.
So, after spending a week in Kona with the Leica Q2, what are my final thoughts? The image quality and the overall shooting experience were top-notch. The Leica mystique is real, and there's a certain joy in using a camera that feels like a precision instrument. However, the high price might still be a barrier for many photographers. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. And hit that notification bell to stay updated. Let me know in the comments if you tried a Leica or if you're considering making the switch. Until next time, happy shooting!